You know what, let's be real for a second. This story, it's complicated. It's not the kind of thing I ever thought I'd share publicly. Definitely not with a bunch of strangers on the internet. And yet here I am. Maybe I just need to let it out. So, here goes. I'm 47, divorced, one kid. And honestly, my life feels like it's stuck on repeat, like an old scratched record that just won't move forward. I'm a night shift nurse, which means I've seen things that can make you question everything you thought you knew about people and life. At some point, you stop flinching. You get used to the weird hours, the bone-deep exhaustion, the stories that would make most people's hair stand on end. And outside of work, well, there isn't much of a life to speak of. I work, I come home, I try to sleep, then I get up and do it again, 5 nights a week. But before I dive deeper into what happened, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from right now? I love seeing how far our little community of secrets and cheating stories reaches. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Because trust me, the twists coming up, you don't want to miss them. Anyway, there's one thing that keeps me from completely losing myself in that endless loop: bowling. Yes, bowling. I know it sounds like something your grandma might do on a Sunday afternoon. But for me, it's my escape. I joined a league last year just to try something different, and to my surprise, I wasn't half bad. In fact, I got good enough to qualify for a tournament. A real one. 3 hours away. I was over the moon. Months of practice finally paying off. It felt like a piece of the old me, the pre-divorce me, was coming back to life. But reality always finds a way to crash the party. Because here's the problem: who was going to watch my son? He's a teenager, bright, but with a rebellious streak a mile wide. Let's just say leaving him alone for a weekend isn't an option. The last time I tried, I came home to find that one of his buddies thought it would be fun to test the strength of my garage door with his truck. Yeah, not pretty. So I thought, fine, his dad can take him. But of course, life has a sense of humor. His father got stuck with guard duty that same weekend. Perfect timing, right? So I was stuck. Couldn't miss the tournament I'd been working so hard for, but couldn't leave my son behind either. So I did the only thing that made sense. I packed us both up and booked a hotel room near the bowling alley. Thankfully, the hotel had an indoor pool, so at least he wouldn't be bored. The next morning, I dragged myself out of bed, stretched, and went to wake up my son. He was still curled under the covers, groaning when I nudged him. I told him I was heading down for breakfast. He mumbled something about pancakes, so at least I knew he was awake. We went downstairs to the hotel's breakfast buffet. You know, the kind rubbery scrambled eggs bacon that somehow manages to be both greasy and crispy, and those tiny dry muffins that nobody actually likes. My son piled pancakes onto his plate while I settled for an omelette. We ate in silence, just enjoying the rare quiet. Afterward, I asked if he wanted to do anything before my matches started. His eyes lit up immediately. There's a mall nearby, he said, and there's a GameStop. They might finally have that game I've been looking for. Now, I'm not a mall person. Too loud, too crowded, and I always end up spending more money than I mean to. But my son doesn't ask for much. And seeing him this excited, I couldn't say no. So off we went. The mall was packed, but we headed straight for GameStop. And there it was, the game he'd been hunting for. Used, beat up, and somehow still nearly 60. I wanted to roll my eyes, but the way his face lit up. Well, let's just say I pulled out my wallet without a fight. The grin he gave me was pure, genuine happiness. Worth every penny. We spent a few more hours wandering the mall window, shopping people, watching. And honestly, it was nice. It reminded me of when he was little, before the teenage attitude kicked in. Just us. Together. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us bring you more of these wild, real-life stories. That night, I headed back to the bowling alley feeling good, rested, grateful for the time with my son, and ready, so ready to bowl my best. But turns out I bowl better when I'm running on stress and exhaustion. I started strong, sitting in second place, but by the end of the tournament, I slipped down to 5th. Frustrating, definitely. But I kept my spirits up. One of the girls from my league back home, Sarah, ended up winning the whole thing. She's worked so hard, and honestly, she deserved it. After the awards, a group of us decided to celebrate. They invited me out, and I said yes, as long as I didn't have to drive. Luckily, the bar was right across from our hotel. Perfect. Who wants to deal with driving after a night out anyway? We ordered drinks. Now, I'm not much of a drinker, but I do like a glass of wine now and then. That night, though, let's just say I had more than one. We laughed, we shared stories, we toasted Sarah's victory. By the time I stumbled back into the hotel around 1 a.m., I was tipsy, but also genuinely happy, relaxed. It had been a long time since I'd felt that way. Now, before I continue, quick check-in. Where are you watching from tonight? I love seeing how far our community reaches. Drop your city or country in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next big reveal. Back in the room, my son was asleep with the TV still glowing in the background. I smiled. He looked so peaceful. I changed into pajamas, slipped into bed, and tried to focus on the movie playing. But for some reason, I couldn't sleep. I just lay there, thoughts spinning about the tournament, about my son, about life. And then around 3 a.m., I heard something. A noise. At first, I thought it was him shifting in bed. But no, it was coming from the hallway. I froze. Was someone outside our door? I muted the TV and listened. Footsteps. Slow. Hesitant. Then a faint knock, barely audible. My heart skipped. Who knocks on a hotel door at 3 a.m.? For a moment, I debated waking my son, but instead I slipped quietly out of bed and walked toward the door. The shadows from the TV flickered across the room, making everything feel surreal. I pressed my ear against the door. Silence. And then another knock. Louder this time. I didn't open it. Not yet. But standing there in the dark, pulse racing, I knew one thing for sure. Whatever was about to happen, it was going to change everything. As it turned out, exhaustion and stress didn't ruin me, it sharpened me. I slipped from 2nd place to 5th. Yes, But I left the tournament with something else, a strange kind of energy. After the ceremony, a few of us decided to celebrate across the street. I had more wine than usual, and by the time I stumbled back to the hotel at 1 a.m., I was tipsy, but strangely awake. My son was asleep, the TV flickering in the dark. I smiled, changed into pajamas, and slid into bed. But sleep didn't come. My mind kept replaying the night Sarah's victory, the laughter, the clinking of glasses, and then just past 3 a.m., I heard something. At first, I thought it was my son shifting in his bed. But no. The sound came from the hallway. Footsteps, hesitant, slow. Then a knock, barely audible. My heart thudded. Who knocks on a hotel door at 3 a.m? I froze, listening. Silence. And then another knock. This time louder. I crept toward the door, pulse racing. Through the peephole, I saw nothing but a shadow shifting against the dim light of the corridor. My breath caught. Should I open it? Should I wake my son? The TV cast long, distorted shadows across the walls. The air felt heavy charged. It was as if the hotel room itself was holding its breath with me. And then the knock came again. Firm, insistent. Whoever it was, they weren't leaving. I whispered to myself, what do they want from me at this hour? The feeling in my chest was a dangerous mix of fear and curiosity.